Hey guys, Jake here. Right before the video, I just want to warn you, the audio is a little rough. I had a lot of fun talking about BTS and everything, but yeah, I pop my peas a lot, so we're getting pop filters ASAP. I just bought some, so they'll be in. Next time is going to be less awful sounding. We're slowly getting there. We're only on to episode 3 of this podcast, and it's just a lot to figure out having a co-host right next to me. But don't you worry. Thank you for sticking with it and having fun. I love talking about history. And one of these days, very soon, the podcast is going to sound perfecto. Perfect. You know what? Here, let's just get into it. 3, 2, 1. That was a great little clap you did there, buddy. Dude, I really appreciated it.
Right, first time, only time.
First time, only time. Welcome back to the formerly known podcast called We Disagree. We are changing the name now to the Jank podcast. It is
we're pretty jank.
Yeah. here's our blocker so our audio doesn't go in because we have hopefully good point. Hopefully. Plus my mic is hot right now. Let me turn myself down here.
He's feeling hot.
There we go. Now it's better. That's a little better, I hope.
Okay, let's do this. Yep, I'm ready. I know what the topic is, so
you already know I'm kind of forcing you with this topic. I feel like all the topics I come up with, I'm like, yo, Everett, here you go. You like horror though. You were a big fan of horror in the last episode, and Star Wars
for sure.
Actually, yeah, no, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
This is the first one that's like I'm not very well versed in, so this will be interesting.
It'll be very interesting. That's why I kind of wanted to force you into. Real quick, I need you to be straight up with me. Is it for your recording when there's a long pause? Does it show the line going all the way through, or does it like skip?
Do you mean like?
Does it show the pauses?
Yeah, like the little.
Oh, thank God.
blocks.
Okay. At one point, it was skipping, and editing the last video was awful, but we fixed it, so we're good. We're good.
Okay. Cool.
Thank God. The Janky Podcast is brought to you by being broke and just hoping your careers take off. Also, can you be straight up with me one more time? I'm super sick today, and I feel like I look like trash. Do I look handsome?
In like a corpse bride kind of way. I'm just gonna be honest.
Ow! I didn't even test the lights on. I saw the lights on you, and I was like, "He looks fine." I feel like I like have red around my eyes too. So like,
I see just your eyes over these pillows right here, and I feel like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be honest.
Like I'm gonna kill you.
Yes.
Like I'm a murder. Okay, cool. All right, that is a perfect segue into our topic today: boy bands and their historical impact.
Hot dog. Let's do it.
Hot dog. All right. So let me fix my mic. I know usually we end with a game, but I was wondering if we could start with a game this time.
Okay, yeah, I'm game.
So here's what we're going to do.
Hello.
All right, here's what we're going to do. First off, first question. When do you think the first boy band was called a boy band?
Okay, my guess, in the 60s, kind of around when the Beatles were. Or is it in the 90s?
Who do you think like the first boy band was?
Oh, probably the Beatles or the Beach Boys.
Beatles or Beach Boys? You're kind of close. It's actually they were called the first like band referred to as a boy band was around the 1950s, and it was a band called the Ink Spots. It's actually this is an incredibly seems like a very offensive name. You'll see why. So they started in 1934, and it was an all African American group.
Okay.
And they're called the Ink Spots. And that was like the first boy band.
Huh.
That's kind of an offensive name, I feel like.
Yeah,
It was the 1930s, so
That's true.
Still, I was like, geez Louise.
I wonder.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it means something completely different now.
I hope,
so
yeah.
I hope at least.
Yeah, I just feel like
really
at the time being, yeah, otherwise we'll look like, I swear, if my least successful podcast is the one that gets me canceled on the internet, I will.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Jake has been canceled.
All I did was I said the name sounds offensive. Like it's the 1930s. I feel like it was actually offensive.
It's possible.
Like,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Okay.
It could be. I'm not saying you're wrong by any means.
Cool. Okay. So now I'm glad we don't call this We Disagree anymore because we actually agree on quite a bit of things.
Yeah,
all right. So let me hit you with this now. Now I'm going to name the boy band and I want you to tell me when they started.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's give you an easy one. I know you're a Beach Boys fan. When did the Beach Boys start?
In the 60s.
1961. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Oh, do I need the specific year?
Specific year. Also, I'm sick, so I'm sorry to everyone that has to hear me repeatedly be like, all right, the Beatles.
Beatles, 1963. Or Yeah, 1963. It was.
Technically,
1960.
Technically, it could be 1962.
What was it, the Beatles or was it the Silver Beatles?
Damn it, you got me. Okay, fine. We'll say
I think
1963.
the Quarrymen were right before
Yeah,
that, so-
it was complex.
Come at me, I know something
I
about the Beatles.
I just wrote down one date and I was like, this is what I'm going to tell him.
I don't know. It could be 62, but 63 was for sure when they were the Beatles and they were like taking off.
I'll take that. You know what? That answer, you beat the guy asking the questions. I'd like that to go on record. So congrats. Now let's jump forward 20 years. 60s, like the 70s, didn't seem very boy bandish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say it was a big rock time for sure.
Yeah, so there wasn't as many boy bands, but then we saw a huge resurgence of it in the 1980s. New Kids on the Block.
Yep.
When did they start?
I'm gonna go with 86.
Ooh, surprisingly close actually.
Oh,
1984
Oh,
for New
okay.
Kids on the
That's not
Block.
too
So
bad.
it's interesting. So like you see it in the 50s and 60s, like the start of boy bands.
Yeah.
Then the 70s kind of skips over it, and then the 80s through the 90s is the huge resurgence. Next one that's pretty big to know: Boys to Men.
Yeah.
When do you think they started?
Are they? Well, are they in the 80s?
They're in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you that. These are in order, so like
Oh, okay.
you now know
Okay.
they're after at least 84.
Well, that makes that so much easier. So I'm gonna go with 87.
No, you said it was easier and you still got it wrong. 1988 for Boys
That's
to
pretty
Men.
Close. That's, I'm giving myself half a point.
Half a point for that one. It's funny because the 80s is like our parents' generation. Like, so my mom still has buttons of people from Boys to Men and New Kids on the Block.
That's crazy. That's actually kind of cool.
All right, so the 1990s, boy bands were still going strong, and this is where some iconic boy bands come from.
Yep.
Let's start with Backstreet Boys.
92.
93. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like you started out, you hit the ground running, and then now you're just choking. Okay.
Flopping.
In Sync.
You said 93 was the last one, right?
Yes.
So this one's for sure 94.
No, it's 95.
Really? Come on.
Yeah, it's 95. You were close. It was 2 years before off there. All right. Then like early 2000s, boy bands were like popular, but there wasn't any like, I feel like, huge names. Because early 2000s were kind of a weird time for everybody.
Yeah, no,
Like-
that was more of like, I feel like, not necessarily grunge, but like heavy rock.
But you saw it in movies as well. Like the Saw movies were taking off at that time too. You saw
That's
like
true.
it was like an angry time. People were angry.
No, music
so like
was pretty angry at that time too. I mean,
Yeah.
at least some of it was for sure.
yeah, but then the 10s come around and then you start seeing huge names again. Even before the 10s, you started seeing like the Jonas Brothers. Wait, where do I put them somewhere? Jonas Brothers are still going strong today. That's
Oh,
what's
yeah, they
crazy.
came back.
Which is crazy. They completely switched it up.
I mean, are they even a boy band now, or are they just like a regular band?
They're a men band now.
men band.
They're a band of men and brothers. They're a band of brothers.
Wow. That is true. They are brothers.
What was that wow for?
They're men.
They're men. It's a band of men. Ooh, I feel like you're judging me for saying that.
No, like,
All right.
I never thought of that.
And then finally, now we're seeing boy bands start to be popular in other countries as well, with like K-pop and stuff. K-pop's obviously not just boy bands. I can't wait to talk about K-pop in a second. When do you think BTS, probably one of the biggest K-pop groups in the world, started?
2000.
It's around this time. I don't want to give a direct time.
16.
Surprisingly close. 2013 is what I have. And if I'm wrong, BTS stands, please don't murder me. Okay, I'm sorry. That's what the internet told me. Okay, I actually like BTS. Okay, I got some BTS favorites. I like Suga. Suga's cool. J-Hope. Always like J-Hope. RM used to be known as Rat Monster. Now he's just RM. And you don't care. Why am I telling you this? So my second favorite boy band group of all time, they're K-pop, is BTS. And I think BTS has this interesting kind of effect on history right now, like affecting the current history of seeing how the internet can help make bands cross-country become super famous. Like BTS Twitter is huge. BTS stands on Twitter. Like I can guarantee you every single person has a follower with one of the BTS members, like as a profile picture. Someone following you right now has a BTS member profile picture.
Really?
I can almost guarantee it. Like they own Twitter. They own Twitter. And it's a thing where that's how they became so popular. They have some of the most streams ever because the internet can make these talented groups be spotted. Like, no cap, I listen to a lot of BTS. I told a bunch of my YouTube friends about it, and they roasted me. Like, a year ago, I was roasted for loving BTS. Like, Love Maze? Oh my God. Love Maze, Mic Drop. I work in radio, and that's how I found them. We played Mic Drop on the radio, and all these BTS stands started following me, and I was like, yeah, all of a sudden started learning about BTS, and ever since then, I've been a BTS fan, and I stand by that. I love BTS, and you're all right. Everett, you have like 300 followers, okay? Maybe not.
No, I'm gonna go fast. So
You're gonna go fast.
So what am I looking for? Like, what does BTS like? What would be the most common type of photo to see?
A Korean young-looking guy.
Young Korean-looking guy. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I know they're Korean.
They have seven. They have 7 so it'd be like either a group of them. The signed BTS. They actually just dropped a new album, so it could be just the picture of the new album cover.
I'm getting some anime here, but I'm not getting a lot of BTS.
You get an anime. You got anime people following you, buddy.
I do. I have Batman people too. Oh, we got Pokemon. We're getting close. I can feel it.
All right.
Just keep going.
So yeah, no, I just BTS has this interesting effect. I'm interested to see how they are looked upon in history because they kind of started the whole wave of K-pop in the Western world, which to me is just intriguing because it'll be interesting to see in 10 years what we think of like the effect because right now there's like this negative effect of it, but I think it'll be looked upon positively, hopefully in the future. Me being a BTS fan. Now that being said, Everett, we have never told each other our favorite boy bands, but we've jammed out to boy band songs. On the count of 3, let's both say our favorite boy bands, okay? Our favorite boy band. All right, sure. 1, 2, 3. Big Time Rush. Ooh. Wait, did you just copy? Wait, what'd you say?
I'm sorry, I butchered that. It was Big Time Rush.
It's Big Time Rush. Oh my God, bro! This cannot be called We Disagree. We agree on too many things. I'm glad we called it the Jank podcast now.
And by the way, I have not found one photo of a BTS member. Now I could be wrong. I may have skipped over because I was looking.
We're gonna say he skipped over. You have like 400 followers.
Hey, it's decent. I don't think I have that many.
Go if you have a BTS profile picture, go follow Everett. Prove me right.
And I have 144, so I'm not that popular. I keep it close to the heart, yo.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Anyways,
you're a nobody. No,
I am nobody.
I'm sorry.
Big Time Rush, yeah, they're pretty good. I actually have their CD on. I
know you did because we jammed out to. That's why I wanted to bring it up. So that's I guess kind of how I wanted to wrap. So I said boy bands and their effect on history. We kind of dove into K-pop, but it's interesting to see like how it started all the way back in the 1930s, and you see these huge resurgence of them, and it's different forms of boy bands. It's like some were more poppy, the ink spots were jazz, and you see these they keep popping up, and they become these iconic names, and they kind of affect the music around them. And I think boy bands kind of has this negative term, which I don't like that much because I feel like boy bands have genuinely good. Some of them do have genuinely good music. And, like, you see Disney Channel had the Jonas Brothers. They had Camp Rock with the Jonas Brothers. They had, Disney made Miley Cyrus as well. Like, Disney capitalizes on music, and they took advantage of the boy bands. And then you saw Nickelodeon try to do that with Big Time Rush. And the thing is it's genuinely good music. And when you know the term of something is successful when not only do mainstream, like TVs, mainstream stuff pick it up, but the internet does as well. And I don't think it's as mainstream anymore on TV channels and stuff, but on the internet, like with BTS, it's huge. So I think boy bands' effect on the music industry is much more than people give it credit for. I feel like it's hated on too much.
You can say, yeah, I'd say that. I mean, there's definitely other forms of music that get trashed on a lot, but,
I would say debatably, boy bands are one of the most trashed.
See, I don't know, because I hear people say, oh, boy bands suck, but then again, I hear a lot of people say country sucks.
Every time I'm on Tinder and a girl's like, I love all music. I'm like, you love all music except country. I'm like, man, it's always except country. Everyone hates country music, exactly. Which I don't understand. Like, we live in Iowa. Yeah. More people should like country. Like, we're right in the middle. Like, I grew up in a small town. I like country. Yeah. I like country. I like boy bands. Yeah. Do you like country?
Country has some good songs. It's not my preferred genre, but I can listen to it.
So if you had to listen to let's go from if you had to listen to only country the rest of your life or boy bands the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
That's tough. I'd probably choose country just because there's some rock in there, and at least I can enjoy that to a beer. So.
Really, fair point. You'd be like, you get really. I feel weird drinking a beer listening to like NSYNC.
Yeah.
I'd be like, which one's the Bye 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 side? The Bye Bye Bye. Is that NSYNC who sings that? Or
yeah, that's NSYNC. Yeah.
I'd feel bad. Like someone would be like, all right, Jake, you're DJ for the night, and I'd be like, hope you're ready for boy bands. It's all I can listen to from this hypothetical question I asked one time on the podcast.
Yeah, no, I'd rather do.
So you'd say country is more hated than boy bands?
I don't know. I mean, just from my personal experience of talking to people, I would say so. But on a general stance, I mean, country is pretty popular.
I guess it's kind of unfair to say because like rock for a long time, people hated rock. Like a lot of parents would ban rock in their houses. They'd say it's like the devil's music. It's anti-Christian.
Yeah.
And then you've got country people just generally just don't like the sound of it for some reason. It doesn't resonate with people. You've got grunge that people hated. Rap, parents again hated. I guess boy bands was one of the things that I don't think parents ever like revolted against it. Like I guess it never like defined a generation. There's a bunch of other. That's kind of why I picked boy bands is because you can find distinct points in all the other music industries where it like defined a generation. But boy bands has always just been there. I feel like kind of having its rise and falls.
Well, Bo Burnham, he kind of had a good point on this. It was in the song Repeat Stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a lyric, I can't say it off the top of my head, but basically he describes that like, why would your parents get mad, when you want to buy this magazine or this like CD or whatever, when it's because you're in love. And how can you hate love? Because, I mean, when you're little or when you're, like, a teenager and you listen to boy bands, you're like, oh, my God, they're so cute. Like,
true.
I adore them. And then you have the parents. How are they going to be like, oh, you can't enjoy these innocent dancing boys that aren't sexual in any way, shape, or form?
Fair point. I guess starting out, so I'd say arguably probably in the 60s and even 80s, they weren't sexualized at all.
No.
But then in the 90s, I think they started to get, it feels weird saying this, it started to get more sexy. There's a King of the Hill episode where Bobby loves a boy band, and even Hank likes listening to their music. Then they go to the concert, they're taking off their shirts, So in the 90s, you see this like turn where it goes from sweet innocent boy bands to like 90s was like they're almost bad boys. They had the frosted tips. They're like they're dangerous, but not too dangerous. You know what I mean? And then you get the turn back in the 2010s where it's Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and now you've got it as K-pop, where a lot of the members they dress and have this style of a little bit more edgy by Western standards. Sure. So it's super cool to see. Like again, I'd say you have scat, you've got jazz, you've got boy bands. I think help define pop and what it is today.
More or less, yeah.
So pop, I would say is probably like the most popular source of music, mainstream wise. Pop. Yeah. Got Justin Bieber, you've got people like Billie Eilish, Miley Cyrus. They're all pop. Selena Gomez, they're all pop. A lot of them were on mainstream TV as well, which, again, boy bands kind of started as well.
For sure.
So, yeah. So I would say boy bands, we disagree on the hated part, but I'd say they help define pop. Can we agree on that one?
I mean, I'm not going to say no to that, no.
Yeah! A win for Jake. Wow.
You got one.
I'll take that one. I'm glad we changed the name. Are you glad we changed the name? The Jank Podcast?
I want to know is 110% my idea. Do not give him credit for this show anymore.
So
I am the king.
This is Everett's show now. This show belongs to Everett. All right. So the We Disagree podcast made it technically 2 episodes. Technically 3 for this, but
this is We Disagree Legacy Edition.
Yeah, so it will now be called the Jank Podcast. I'll probably keep We Disagree like in the title, not in the title on the thumbnails, for sure. But put the Jank Podcast there. I'll change it all now. I'll change those other 2 episodes. Retconned. When I say We Disagree, you go back and watch those, and you go, "No, Jake, you're wrong. It's the Jank Podcast."
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good ending. It's all retconned. I retconned it all. I did when Disney bought Star Wars. I just did what Disney did and retconned all the books. It's all retconned. All right. Go ahead and promote your social medias, Everett.
Well, you can follow me on Instagram. That's just my name. Jake put my name on the screen somewhere.
Dude, I just put this audio up with the video. I don't want to go and find. Oh my god.
Thank you.
It's going to be in the description. It's going to be in the description. I'll throw it in the description.
It's going to be in the description and the video. If it's not, you know whose fault it is.
Learn the. You should learn your names on that. So next time when you promote, you'll be like, find me on TikTok at your Devox, even though your last name's Devo. It's spelled like Devox.
So here, I will spell it out real quick that you can follow me on TikTok because Jake made me get it. Echo, Alpha, Delta, Echo, Victor, Alpha, Uniform.
What are you doing?
X-ray.
Are you spelling it out in... I hate you. You're done. Your promotion's over.
Yeah, I got it. Now you can just follow the trail I left you.
There you go. Follow that. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We upload bi-weekly, so every other Wednesday you'll be seeing one. I'm very excited for the next episode. We have a guest. His name's Adam Ford, and this guy did photography for people before they blow up. So Billie Eilish, he did photography for Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish and you can actually go and follow him as well. Just
Yeah.
a little pre-promotion here. It's just what is his Instagram?
Adam Ford. I think it's ATOM and then Ford.
Let me check.
And then it's so cool because he filmed for Billie Eilish. He filmed for Young Gravy. He knows these people.
He hangs out with Young Gravy. They're like friends.
Yeah. So it's so cool. We went to high school with this guy, and we make podcasts, we make TikToks, we make YouTube videos, and I'd say together we are pretty successful in making those. And he just went a completely different route. So it's so cool that we can still be friends with him and in contact with him. And I'm excited to interview him about he basically filmed for Billie Eilish right before she blew up. So he could find now if someone just who is because he hasn't done a lot. He's a young dude.
Oh yeah.
So
he's
someone,
our age, and it's very impressive what he's doing, and he's very down to earth about it. He doesn't brag about it.
Yeah, but now Billie Eilish is untouchable. So he got in right at the perfect time. So he knows all this cool stuff, which is going to be incredible to talk about. So subscribe to this. That'll be up in 2 weeks from when this is uploaded. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram. It's all just Jake Trumper. On Twitter as well.
You can find that on the screen or in the
It's in the description. It's never going on the screen. I'm not putting it on the screen. That's too much typing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you lots. Got anything you want to say?
Adios.
Until next time. Perfect. You can hit stop on.